Yeah, we're back now. I will hopefully not have that situation happen to me again. But what are your thoughts, Francis, um, about students that go to the ARO office and, of course, we were talking about earlier, a lot of them have disabilities. The major part that I would say that changes everything is what about the students that don't visit the ARO and like have any other problems? Do you have anything that you would want to say to them if you could?
Well, if a student comes in, or not in the office, but if a student's on campus and they talk to an advisor and they mention anything about, they have an IEP or 504, or they take medicine for something, any kind of documentation. If they mention that to an advisor, the advisors are absolutely amazing because they will say, well, do you know about ARO? And they're like, no, what is that? They automatically contact us with the student. They send the student the email and us to let us know, and we reach out to the student to try to get them in. And it seems to help a lot. Plus, we get teachers, amazing teachers. They will be talking to students in class, and during their conversation, they're like, "Oh, do you know about Arrow? I think they could help you." They bring them over. We've gotten a lot of people referred to us that way also, and that's amazing.
Wonderful. Another thing that just came up in my head while discussing this topic was the. I know when I first joined Arrow, I had trouble resuming. I'm assuming where the stream died. When it comes to Access VR, they demanded the transcripts at the end of the semester, and I'm really grateful that you guys were able to go through and help people with it. Because if it was on my own or with my parents, I know it would be extremely stressful about that situation. With Arrow being where it is in the basement of the library, it also presents that every morning I see a lot more people in there now than I even did see in my first semester. It has seemed to, get a lot more popular in there. At least I see more people in there now. Whether especially in even the lab across the door. But the one thing that's been bothering me is what I'm in some a little funny situation right here. What does the Arrow office do any events on campus that are either not mentioned enough or should be mentioned a lot more? Do you name any events that happen?
Well, like last year, I believe it was, we had a great event, or it might have been, no, it was before COVID. It was before COVID. That we had a whole disabilities set up at the main floor of the library. They came in with all kinds of really cool things to teach people about the different types of disabilities. So um, I'm sure we'll do some other events in the future, but we've been focused on opening that new lab across the hall, which has been, I mean, it's beautiful in there. We're planning on having a grand opening in the spring. We're just trying to get everybody trained and everything now. And I hope you'll get to come to it. But you'll see it. It'll be in the news, in the buzz about a grand opening. And I hope you can come. I hope a lot of people come because it's pretty exciting.
Thanks. And the other situation that I wanted to mention is I I there's even students that I know personally that I wouldn't want to name any names, but I know some that are struggling, and I know at least like one of them that isn't like reaching out to the ARO office. Would you have any advice for them or no?
Well, Well, if you are one of our students, or if not, if you're not an Aero student, always reach out to somebody because you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of people that work here know a lot of stuff. So if you have any kinds of concerns, like you were talking about Access VR, well, we've been through the process a few times, so we know some things.
Mhm.
And just because you're on campus doesn't mean you know everything. It's a learning process and it's constantly changing.
Mhm.
So I would say to your friends that are struggling, please just give us a call or stop in. Get an appointment, come in, talk to somebody, and then between Samantha and Lisa, they will do whatever they can to get them on the right path. If it's study skills or time management, anything like that, will definitely help you.
Speaking about situations that are constantly changing, how did around the COVID years change for you guys in the ARO office? Since I think that's a good discussion to bring up, as for a lot of other people, they went either virtually online or even had struggles with that. How did it affect you personally in the ARO department?
Well, actually, it really helped a whole lot because we were already having a lot of pretty good technology stuff. But once COVID hit, technology went crazy, which is a huge plus because it helps a lot more people. And John, as you know, has had a lot of different things in researching, find all these new programs to use to help students. So it's actually helped us a lot to be able to help more students.
Though I'm sure you could even talk about this too, regardless of the COVID situation. It doesn't look like COVID's going to go away at any point. So do you, and I remember this is a topic discussed by my microeconomics teacher this morning, being like that a lot of either professors or even staff members, all of them are looking for at least some return to normalcy. Would you be one inclined to agree something similar to that, or just to live in an era where people aren't so worried about COVID anymore?
I think we're getting back to normal because it's pretty amazing to see all the people on campus. It makes me so happy because it was a ghost town a lot of times. And being here when it was like really a lot of students and everybody's busy and going, it's amazing to see. And now it feels more normal than it has in a few years. Of course, ever since COVID. But I'm hoping more and more people come because I think it would be great.
Mm-hmm. I know I asked this with the college professor. I might ask this too. Have you ever personally experienced any problems with online platforms like Zoom or anything in terms of educational learning? I know, I mean, if you listen to my stream, I had my whole rant about how using the Zoom program in general just has a way of, I don't know, it made me kind of lazy. Did the online learning either affect you personally with Zoom, or did you really have no difference in it between attending any Zoom meetings and attending personal ones?
I actually enjoy Zoom meetings because because I can go to more of them. Because in our office we have to make sure it's staffed, so we can be Zooming in a meeting and then also taking care of things, and that way we didn't miss out on a lot of things. So it actually pretty much works for us.
That's perfectly fine. The the other thing I want to bring up is I brought this up with the president, finding more ways to advertise this community college towards other areas. I'd say just as much as we should be advertising for the community college in the area, we should also be advertising for the ARO department in the area. As I don't know, when I first came here, for like the first couple days, I I didn't feel like I understood the aero department as much as I do now. It's focused on a lot of other things. I mean, the fact that you guys also have to deal with college students that don't even have driver's licenses yet, or ones that live on the dorms. It's a new experience every year, and as more and more students come, I just hope the aero department can be expanded. Other than that, is there any dreams going further on that you have for the aero department? Anything that you would like upgraded, or anything you would like to see the aero department have? I mean, you worked there for over 20 years. I'm sure you have a good vision of that place.
Well, what I would like to see is not so much things, but people's attitude, because there's no, you don't get a little badge when you join Aero. Before COVID, we had well over 300, sometimes 400 people in our program. The only way anybody knows anything at all about you is if you personally tell them yourself. I don't go around telling people that, my eyes are just off when I have to wear trifocals and I trip going upstairs if I don't do them one at a time and down them. People don't know that unless you tell them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had students after they've come for like say 2 semesters, they're like, man, I wished I could have skipped high school and just came to college, because this is a really, really great place.
I'm sure if you mention something like that, I'm sure if any high school or high schools ever listen to this stream at some point, I think they can make the honest conclusion that the other thing that I even remember lacking in high school, except for I was lucky enough to have a lot of nice teachers in my school. I'm not sure everyone can say the same about their school, but that's sort of what brought me into engaging with you guys, is that's what I was used to in school. It got to the point where it was like the peers in school were just, a lot of them were awful, but the teachers were just nice to talk to once in a while, and you could just engage in conversations one-to-one as like pretty much both adults and have a meaningful conversation, which is what I've really enjoyed about the ARO department and any other professors here. Is what makes it better than a lecture is you're able to talk back and forth, ask questions, and even do something like this, and it not affecting somebody's day. I presume the way you talk and with everyone, engage with everyone, I'm sure you're a firm believer in engagements.
Absolutely. It's wonderful to talk to students because, like I said, everybody wants a friend, and sometimes they just need somebody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're there for. We're here to help you. And if students, whether they have a disability, whatever accommodations, or no accommodations, just whatever, everybody on this campus is a student. Well, except if you're an employee. But, I mean, you're a student, the other guy's a student, everybody is. We just have different needs.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has different needs because nobody's the same. So I think the sooner everybody realizes that it's okay to be me, just like, this is me.
Mm-hmm.
I love that theme. I know I already said that, but I absolutely do. But I think once everybody realizes that, yeah, it's okay to be who you are. You should be happy with who you are. There's only one you.
Mm-hmm.
So be happy with it.
Yep. I remember guilty as charged. Another reason I like spending time in ARO was because you would get in there by like 7:30, and it was like one of the only, because I didn't even walk inside the natural science at that time. I didn't even know they were open and then. So it was like it was the only building that I waited to go into, and it was nice, especially during the winter. I know who I have to thank for most of the climate and temperature controls in the aero department and the other buildings. But is there anything that is there anything that you would like to actually, as you were saying earlier, is there anything specifically that you would like to say about the students? I mean, you said you want to see some attitude changes. That no one in the Aero office wears a badge to show who they are. So, what are the type of attitude changes you like to see? Is it a peer attitude change, a staff attitude change, or in between?
No, the attitude change I meant was that, it's okay to be who you are.
Mhm.
You don't have to, if you don't want people to know anything about you, you just don't tell them because
Mhm.
they don't know from us. We don't give out any information. So if you want services, you just come see us. You don't want people to know, don't tell them because we don't say anything. But my thing is a lot of people are very kind, but I think some people forget sometimes that you never know what somebody else is going through. And so let's just try to be kind to each other. Try to be helpful because that's what I love to do. Love to help people. It's my thing. And plus a lot of caffeine. That keeps me rolling to help me go. But, I think we're doing great though. You know, with our students, the more coming back and realizing that it's okay to come and get services because it is different because you're the one in control.
Mhm.
You choose what you want services in.
And I'm sure, going towards another subject, I'm sure some people had, like, whenever I kept going in the aero department, a lot of people in the aero department were talking to me about how I was I was interviewing the president and commenting about that. Since you're on a live stream right now, do you have anything you would like to, um, I don't know, any questions you would like to have about what the president talked about there, especially with the ARO, just either thanking me that I did a shout out to them, but is there any like questions that you would like to ask the president personally if you were to ever watch this video? Just leave it in the video for him.
Oh, of course, I always have a lot of questions. I love to talk. But what I would like to shout out to the president is that I appreciate the fact that he knows who we are. He mentioned Arrow. He mentioned the Writing Center and the Math Lab and the tutoring. A lot of presidents, well, a lot of people don't really, acknowledge what we do or who we are. But this gentleman knows us by name, and that is a huge, huge thing. And it really touched every single person in our area. And really, I feel like this president is somebody that we've needed for a really long time. I've been through a few presidents, and not to say anything negative, because I just don't like to do negative at all.
Yeah.
But I feel so positive about Dr. Hawkins. It's just, he's really a huge breath of fresh air. And I personally could not be more happy that he's here.
Well, that's something I also remember too. I might have not even listened to a lot of other board sessions, but I guess I can agree with you. The previous president, perfect example. Couple days, even like a week after talking with him, I literally encountered him just walking on campus away from the student center, and I just said hi, and he said hi. I never saw the previous president walk on campus from the student center to another building. So he seems to be walking a lot more on the college campus, talking with people and engaging with people and seeing if anybody's seeking help or conversations. My professor, again, shout out to Skinner again, I was talking with him up there, showing him the video, saying that the president had told him that he was really happy that that was his first time on a podcast and that he felt confident in wanting to do one again if anyone had questions for him. Is this your first time on a podcast, Francis?
Absolutely. I've watched a bunch of them, but I have never been on one. I watched the Kelsey brothers. So love football. So That's the only thing other than the one you did with Dr. Hawkins. Actually, a real one, a full length one. Yours is the only one I've ever really watched.
Mm.
hmm But I also wanted to tell you that, we've had a lot of really, of course, every student is great, but we've had some students that have really overcome some tremendous odds and amazing. Just the kindest go-getters, but always smiling, no matter what they've been through. I mean, it's pretty cool to watch what some kids have gone through, and they've used it to make them stronger.
And this is going back towards what I'm trying to say. It's great that students are using the ARO accessibility resources as an option to get themselves through. As I stated previously, I've seen more and more students actually walking to and from the testing center than I would have even seen in anything like a high school. Maybe I know some high schools have like Oak Tree programs or study halls, but maybe they could take example from the ARO department here and set up a whole department based on that to go help students with something like that. Because if it's one thing that I think really turns a lot of people, maybe even off of college, is I can name a few things offhand. Number one is debt. That's like the hugest thing that students are worried about, especially taking loans or loans that are really hard to get off of. Two would be the fear of many people even telling them don't acquire, that there are certain degrees that won't help, which are true depending on what you want to do in terms of job scenarios. But, and third, most people going to college feeling like, well, you are an adult, so you have to submit stuff in on time. There isn't anyone that's going to be there to holler you or call you or tell you, oh, hey, get this done. But at the same time, there still should be told, oh, but even though you are responsible for submitting your own work, you also have the responsibility to go reach out to anyone who can help you with submissions or getting work done on time.
That's what we have the Writing Center, like I said, which is amazing, and the Math Lab, amazing. Tutoring in just about every subject that we have. And like if you fall into one of our categories, like Arrow, the note taking in books in alternative format, and just all the technology, we have many ways to help you get through your classes, like the study skills and time management and things like that.
Is now I know I've only been to this college and have experience in it, and this is probably the only college I'm going to go to. But out of one thing, just plain curiosity, do you know of any other colleges? I'm sure some colleges like to communicate with each other. Are there any other colleges out there that you know of that have something similar to an Arrow department, or is this like the only one that you really are familiar or know of? Since a lot of colleges like to meet together, even if it's a community college meeting. This is all presuming and guesstimations. I could be entirely wrong on this.
I'm sure all colleges have an accessibility resources office. I know BU does, and I know Cortland does, another SUNY school. So I'm assuming all schools do. Mm-hmm.
Probably not as good as the one here, though. It's just my little joke on it. The most important thing I'd say at the end is that to reach out to Arrow people to even help them with work. I mean, technically, you're helping me with my assignment right now. Like, you didn't have to. You could have just went home, and I'm very thankful that this is, because I have to turn this in tomorrow. Uh, and I'm on and out of ideas, so do you have anything additional that you would like to share about the Accessibility Resource Office?
Well, I would say, well, our coordinator, Lisa, has been there
Mm-hmm.
30 plus years, I think, or close to it. So she's got our whole system set up pretty well. I mean, you get new techniques and things to streamline things. And with Samantha coming on board, then we have John as tech, and of course me. We also get the help of student assistants, which are amazing. And we're housed, right there in the LAD, which is pretty much everything. We have EOP is also in our office suite. And I would say if you're having any kind of, if you, like some people, if they think they may be able to be tested, like they think they have a learning disability and was never diagnosed, come see us, and you'll have a conversation with one of the specialists, either Lisa or Samantha, to see if you're a good candidate to be tested, because that also can happen for you. But I would say our Arrow office, because you said, ours is one of the best, ours is the best. Are you kidding me? Because we're great.
Thank you for bringing some additional discussion. It's brought up some things I could also ask. When you talk about the room as just being lad, maybe you might want to specify where the Arrow office is located if people don't know. Like what room number it is and what building it is, since I'm sure there's people that, like you said right here, you've never actually been in the basement of Tichenor Hall, so someone could say, I've never been in the Arrow office, where is that?
We are located in the lower level of the library. If you're coming from the parking lot, you just walk straight in the downstairs doors. We're the very first door on the right. It's 017, where we share a parking lot with the
Dorms?
The dorms, yeah. Totally lost that train of thought. And one thing that's pretty cool, though, is because we get a lot of students that are not from the area, and they're staying in the dorms. And when they're there with their parents, I'm like, well, look, we're the first thing you see when you come out of your dorms in the morning. So if you need some kind of assistance, you come see us, because my light's on no later than 7:30, and then they'll stop in. So it makes them feel good knowing that we are so close. I mean, especially right there to the dorms, so they can get help if they need it. But yeah, please, if you have any questions, just want to see the office or check out our lab, please stop down and see us. We would love it.
Also, when you talk about disabilities, about either being tested to see if you have one or not, since someone might not know, the other, I guess, important thing we should also mention, that I don't know, not discourage anyone from the Arrow office, is to also explain that I'm sure there's a lot of people that also use the Arrow resources who might not have a disability, but just want to get through, well, not like a diagnosed disability, just have troubles with something like either math or science. So that's something I've always seen the Arrow office as too. It's an accessibility resource office, and of course means it's open to pretty much anyone, regardless of disabilities or not.
If any student comes to us and say they don't qualify for our services, we always find somebody that can help them. Always. We never, ever, ever send a student away unhelped. Okay?
I've been so thankful for the Arrow office. The only regrets that I've had so far in these last few semesters was during August of last year, during like orientation, when they were going through all of where everything was on like the second floor of Decker in like the summer of August. The only thing that sort of made me disappointed was that I wasn't used to everyone in the Aero office yet. I didn't know who anyone there was, and whether you were there for the orientation or not. Were you?
No.
That's exactly why I have regrets. You should have been there. Well, it's neither here or there. I really do think the multiple parts of the Aero department should. That's just something that I recommend that they attend, the sort of like student parent orientation thing, just to let students know that it exists or anything.
Absolutely, Matt. That's why they do the orientation, so that you can put a name with a face, and kind of hear everything that we offer, because there is a lot of services. That's why we give out the little packets, because it's a lot to take in and remember.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can, receive it all. Plus, you can get it online too. We'll send it to you that way, however you like. We like to make sure you get it however you need it. But I've really enjoyed this today. This has been fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yep.
I hope you get a good grade.
Well, this is on live, so it's getting better. But that's neither here or there. I'm sure this, since the video length in total is over 45 minutes, since there's the extra 14 and a half minutes on the other one, and 31 minutes and 40 seconds counting on chat. The most important thing to carry away from this, though, is, would I honestly be guilty if I told you I didn't actually read the packet? Would I be guilty if I told you that I took a glance of the packet from orientation and was like, too many pages?
I'm sure it's happened more than once, but the best part about that is that your mom and dad have access to it, so they'll make sure you follow it. Mm-hmm.
So far, I don't think I've been lost on anything. And as we're reaching the almost quarter of the 5 o'clock hour, it's 5:18, I think this is where I'm going to end the stream, since it probably just feels like incoherent rambling on the live stream, at least compared to the president one. But hey, this is the most unscripted it can get, uncuffed, no script. And I feel like I still did great regardless of that. But thank you for being on the live stream with me, Francis, as we're going like, oh shit, it's almost night in the college hour. We're going to walk out of Tichenor Hall. We're going to be like, it's darker than a bag of coal. I hope nobody gets that for Christmas.
Are you kidding? Coal's expensive. I would take it. But no, thanks, Matt.
Okay, that is something worth going on the naughty list for, because with all the heating prices during the winter, actually, I should ask that, unrelated to ARO, just to put it on stream. What kind of heating source do you have at your house?
We have natural gas.
Natural gas?
Furnace. Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I know my dad's talked about that a lot. Are you, which he calls it city gas, since it's reliant on the city's electricity. Have you guys ever thought of having anything besides natural gas or city gas as something like a backup heating source? Since I remember the fatal flaw my dad was talking about with natural gas was that if say the power ever goes off, which it's going to in the winter, it always does in the winter. I mean, you've seen it. You've lived here for 24 years. You've seen power outages in Binghamton before, and Galveston Station going online and powering the whole city, but that's not going to be available now. Do you have any backup plans to heating up your house?
We do. We have a heating unit that you can do with a propane heater. Mm-hmm.
My dad would want more of the wood stove route. Do you have something like that? You can say it if you want to.
No, we don't have a wood burner. Yeah. So yeah, we just have the gas furnace. Hmm.
Well, I'm sure if you've been here for 24 years, you know what winter's like, and you've survived now, then I'm sure you'll survive again. The most important thing I'm sure anyone's ever told you when you first moved up here is to dress up in plenty of layers during the winter time.
That's what I have on today. Layers, layers, layers. Yep.
Well, thank you for being on this stream. I can thank you enough, and